You're such an asshole.
Chad, man, what's up, man? Where have you been?
I feel like I haven't talked to you in minutes.
In ages. Oh, so here's an email I got from a regular. He's been emailing and whatnot for quite some time, and he is an accountant. And I needed your extra accounting brain to decipher this. So telling aspiring or interested future accountants the landscape of the labor market that they'd be going into. So he had some interesting thoughts, which I don't completely understand. That's why you're here. So let me go through it. Aaron posted some comments in your accounting shortage video. There is a shortage and abundance of accountants depending on their skill level. Extremely high level and extremely low level have shortages. The middle accounting skill level has an abundance. Paying more will not increase the talent level of the students entering the accounting profession. Big Four can fire $100, $200 an hour accountants, but beg for $1,000 an hour dudes on the same day. So that's true, right? There higher skilled guys that you bill out at 1,000 who've been around for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
And then there's your kind of staff accountants that you don't bill out for 1,000, right?
Yeah, that part is true. Yeah.
Okay. Paying $1,000 an hour to a $200 skill level doesn't make the $200 an accountant smart enough to do the $1,000 an hour job, and thus the Big Four shortages. All right. So have you seen that, or would you surmise that because this guy's work and you've been out of it for a while? Was that what you saw at the Big Four?
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong about how it sort of works at the Big Four, but what I think they're also, I know you're probably going to get into this, but there's been a lot of outsourcing lately, to India and the Philippines. So I think that might be something that's hollowing out, some of that middle part he's saying,
Yeah, because we got kind of like an Oreo cookie. You're high end, low end. Those are the shortages, but then right in the middle.
Yeah.
I would presume your mid-level accountants outside of the Big Four in public accounting, like regular corporate or staff accountants, would also be somewhat outsourced to either Philippines or just technology making it easier with, say, QuickBooks?
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. In fact, I think I should make it a little more clear that if you are in corporate accounting, there's not as much of a shortage of people needed in corporate accounting. Maybe I should make that distinction going forward.
So with this long discussion we've had, and I'm not believing what people see or experience out there. Could it be that we're just focused so much on self-employment?
Yes. And tax specifically. Tax.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, so when we hear the Big Four complain, they can't find accountants. What do they talk about? Entry level and the high end accountants?
I think what the Big Four is complaining about is they're used to getting like the creme back, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, hell, when I was there, they're used to being able to just sort of pick off the creme de la creme, the top of every accounting, the top students or whatever of every accounting program. Like that was the gold standard. And what I think, I don't know, but what I think is happening is a lot of these sort of top graduates are eschewing the Big Four world, if you would, and going someplace else. I do think that's going on.
I've also seen, there was a report I read 2 days ago or a day ago at the request of somebody where people are not even majoring in accounting, which previous to your discussion, a topic where, well, why am I going to go to college for 6 years? But they're going into finance and general business.
In IT, yeah.
Yeah, and they are data analytics. And at least for the data series they covered from 2017 to 2022, they were saying, the Fin Bros and the Tech Bros are making more money. That's probably very different now, 2 to 3 years later.
I think so.
But I'm just trying to figure out what this guy's saying and translate it into the real world. So that would be considered the lower end of the Oreo cookie, is entry level public accounting, not necessarily Big Four, but public accounting. Not as many people are majoring in accounting. So there's a shortage there.
Yes. And just to add real quick, I do get the occasional email, because people find my channel and it's actually, people will say, I've been in corporate accounting. I lost my job or I left my job or something, and I can't get another job in corporate accounting. So I don't know what this shortage is you're talking about. So we're talking about apples and oranges.
We're talking then like a trifurcated market then.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So then we have to like be clear with the audience.
Yeah.
And where I think it's not that we were blind. It's just
No.
that it was, you go into public accounting or corporate accounting. But if you are working for not public accounting, let's just say, although it could be happening there too, but you are working corporate accounting or government accounting and you're mid-level, they're desperate maybe to get new blood in, but you're in the middle and they just downsize. That is a weak spot in the accounting labor market.
Yes, I hate to say it, and I don't mean this to be demeaning, but you're kind of a dime a dozen if you're like in corporate accounting and you're mid-level. I mean, there's plenty of people who there's a lot of replaceability in that particular slice. I think. Yeah.
And then also, I don't think they could necessarily outsource mid-level accountants to the Philippines and overseas, especially if you're corporate, because you got to go into the office.
Yeah.
And kind of be there. God darn it. This is why that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So then what's the solution? Okay. You're an accountant, right? You're a corporate accountant with 7 years experience, 5 to 7.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have a CPA? You do have a CPA, right?
Well, not even, let's say you don't have a CPA. You do or you don't. It doesn't matter. Okay. What would the CPA then be? So you have a CPA. What then?
At least the CPA has a fighting chance to at least make it a minimum a lateral move. In fact, I see a lot of that. But I've also been getting some emails from corporate accountants who have their CPAs who are like, I just can't find anything for decent wages. I've been type pigeonholed in this.
Right. So that's the CPAs. If you don't have a CPA, it's probably even worse in this middle of the Oreo.
That's what I wanted to emphasize. Yeah.
Which then, see, it's because you had such a bad experience in public accounting, and I got sick and tired working in banking.
Yeah.
What's the solution? All right, let's say you don't have your CPA, right? You're like the hated accountant. You got 6 years, you're a white male, and you're probably straight on top of it. And you might even believe in Jesus. You're a despicable, vile human being. Forget all that I said. You're a mid-level accountant, corporate. What's your only option?
I really think more guys need to consider self-employment, but I want to at least defend them a little bit.
Right.
A lot of them have families and maybe spouses that don't work. So, I mean, that is kind of risky, right? To like give up, even if it's lower pay than
individuals. I mean, especially the insurance thing. If you got kids, I understand that.
Yeah.
But let's say you got laid off, you might as well, because what I'm looking at it now, and this may be why we're getting conflicting information. It's because people are like, we're in corporate accounting, mid-level. It's bad for us, but then everywhere we're looking, it's been disproportionately either public accounting or self-employment. You're striking out on your own. But this is what I've been saying, that you got laid off anyway. I don't think long-term corporate employment is even viable. Even Big Four corporate employment is not viable in the long run. And if you did get laid off, what's the first thing you could do?
Well, you could start a YouTube channel. No, you could do self-employment. But the thing is, I think what confuses people is that a lot of guys, and I sort of feel bad for these guys, all they knew is audit. And, you and I have talked about this. Maybe they even were in public accounting in audit. But the problem is when you only know audit, it means you don't have any tax experience. When you don't have any tax experience, you got to sort of start at the beginning to get some tax experience. You can be self-employed. It is infinitely more difficult to become self-employed if all you know is audit.
Yeah, but you're laid off, or you're not finding a job. You don't have a choice. And I would say if you have 5 years corporate accounting experience, you at least know accounting.
Sure. Yeah, you have the foundation.
I mean, it's not like you're coming in as a sociology major, like, I got to start this whole thing over again. But I think what it's telling you is like this market is so bad. It's probably then because you're stuck in the corporate accounting market, that mid-level thing, which we don't poo-poo, like if you can make it and all that. But we've been saying, there's a big opportunity through self-employment.
Yes.
Which is what we've been saying. But I did not know that it was that bad necessarily. Is there a way, aside from just word of mouth and guys you heard, is there a way we could go on the internet and find like corporate accounting, like look at the different markets within? We know self-employment is good and hot because we got all the people in the world doing it, at least in our little channel. But if it's a corp, where would we find it? Like,
God, that's a great question. Like I would have said LinkedIn, certainly not Reddit.
Or maybe Bureau of Labor Statistics, they break it down into corporate accounting, but I don't know if they would. It may just be we got to go with word of mouth.
It is anecdotal. You know how I was in, Chicago for the last couple of weeks. I just got back down here. I did one night, I got some drinks with a few friends, and I've talked about them on my channel. There's these two friends of mine. We're all about the same age. They're two single women, and let's just say they're very on the other side that we are politically, but that's besides the point. The stuff I hear from them, see, they're both accounting managers, and they are just, it's rough for them because they're slashing like some of their coworkers, this is corporate accounting. So they're slashing them. They're outsourcing some of that work, and it's up to these two gals, these two accounting managers, to kind of make sure it's done correctly or fix it because it's chock full.
Were they outsourcing to like a contractor or
Philippines and India?
Really? They're
mostly Philippines,
mid-level. All right. Let me ask you another question, not to keep you here.
That's okay.
Is it going to be like programming in India where the quality is not that good?
Yes, that's what they tell me. I don't know this. And by the way, even in tax, sometimes people outsource out there and they do terrible work. But at least hearing them tell me about it, like they have to, it'd be best if they just did the work themselves. That's how much they have to fix this mid-level corporate stuff.
Really?
Yeah. And so one of them works for a Fortune 500, right? Like one of them works for a Fortune 500. The other works for a more, regional one, but still pretty well known. And they hate their lives. They're just like, oh, we hate it. Every day is like almost miserable. Remember, they're applying to other jobs too, but they can't really find any decent opportunities. Here's the worst part, Clary. This is why my heart just breaks for them, even though they would hate me if they knew the real me.
Well, you are a straight white male who, does believe in Jesus, so you need to be executed immediately.
Do you think either of these two have their CPAs?
No, because they'd be able to get out if they would.
No, they're screwed. So what are they going to do? They have all this experience, and so the companies, of course, are trying to save costs and outsourcing everything. It's up to these two, separate companies to like make sure it's actually correct. So they have to work all these long hours. They're not getting raises, and they don't have any staff, any local staff that they can rely on.
So once again, going back to business ethics, the corpos are trying to like cut everything because that's all they know. They're getting to the point that the accounting is done wrong. They're burning out their staff. And just so for those of you in the accounting profession, especially in corporate accounting, or if you're in this field or unenviable position, I think kind of like DEI, especially in the media, but like with Target and all that, I think it's coming to an end.
I think so too.
Maybe I wouldn't hold your breath. I'd immediately start getting a CPA or start looking into doing like enrolled agent or something, or setting up your own little bookkeeping practice on the side. Because Lord knows, I mean, corporations are stupid. They'll run the company into the ground before they actually wake up. But if it helps, that can't go on forever. And I'd say maybe in 10 years, which is a long time away, they might say, yeah, we can't outsource stuff to the Philippines anymore because the quality of work isn't as good.
Yeah. A couple other things about these gals. One of them, like 10 years ago, when I was first getting started, with my own practice, I actually took some time out to try to help tutor her for the tax part of the CPA exam. She just couldn't pass it. She couldn't do it. And the other is that every single time that these gals get rejected for a job or something, because they have tried, what do you think they blame it on?
They don't blame it on sexism, do they?
Yes.
What, really?
They try to act like there's this cadre of, you know,
Fuck
good
them.
old boys that are holding him down. I just listen to them talk. You know, I always hold my tongue because I don't want to get
Dude,
into
don't
it,
even
man.
tell them. Just let them keep believing.
I don't tell them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let them keep misdiagnosing. Hey, are you gonna come to the white guy with cigars, control everything, good old boys network club next week? You know the secret spot?
Your name is not on the list. Oh, and they've been my so I sort of referred them out, but they've been my clients for the last 10 years, and all they had was like one W-2, so they couldn't even do their own taxes.
What?
Yes. They were among my very first client. This is before I even knew you. Like,
yeah, okay, wait. These are accountants.
These are accountants who can't do their own taxes. What does
Did
that
they go to school for accounting?
They did, but they obviously never did anything tax related. It's not part of their corporate accounting role. So do you see why there's a different type of shortage depending on where you are, right?
The CPA is going to be a higher caliber accountant. I'll grant you that.
Yes.
I was under the impression that if you get a degree in accounting, okay, maybe your niche is not tax, but you should be able to figure it out.
You would think, wouldn't you?
Wow.
And when I tried tutoring that one I was telling you about, she just could not grasp it. Like, to get an accounting degree, I believe you have to take at least one tax course. So I don't know.
I'd imagine several.
Yeah.
So, all right. But then for our audience, I'm going to assume they're not that dumb or lazy.
No.
I'm going to assume my audience will be like, okay, I could take a couple extra courses, repurpose in a different field within accounting. But my God, if you can't even do your own taxes and you're an accountant, you got to leave the field then, I got to imagine by now. If you're just doing what? Accounts payable, accounts receivable, and just this one narrow niche within corporate accounting, the jobs aren't there. You got the headwinds of outsourcing against you. So you either could start from ground zero at H&R Block and do taxes from the beginning.
But they would never do that.
Why? Because it's beneath them?
It's a lot of, I'm not talking about these two gals in particular, but my theory among the corporate folks, I truly feel like 90% of them would be like, that's beneath me. I've been an accounting manager. I would never lower myself to do that. And maybe they have a point. I don't know.
Well, they don't have a point because the labor market speak. I mean, it would help to have some data here, but based on everything we've heard, there's a hole in the market that you don't want to be in. These people are in it, and you either scale up within that field or you got to get out because it's just going to be a nightmarish future going forward. And these are girls or whoever, like, it's beneath me. That's not my audience. My audience doesn't have such stupid pride. But the solution still is they got to leave one way or the other.
Just defend them slightly.
You know,
so I'm in my mid 40s, man. If somebody told me that after, I don't know, 15 to maybe even 20 years of industry experience in accounting, just to get by, I'd have to go all the way to the bottom and like specialize in something, you know, maybe making, I don't know what, $20 an hour at H&R.
Right.
I think I would have a rough time accepting that too. I really do.
No,
yeah,
that's a tough pill to swallow. But what's even worse is unemployment.
Yes.
You know, and speaking to, who do you think, not to bring politics into it, but do you think Biden was going to ban foreigners from doing our jobs in H-1B visas? Or is it Trump that's going to? No, I'm not kidding. I'd be a very populist president. I'd be like, no, you're not outsourcing that shit. They have to be an American. All right. You're not doing that. Or we'd be like, yeah, you could do that. We're going to tax you. Because he is the one putting tariffs up.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious if they'd ever think about, but they probably don't think about that. All right. Well, I'll continue on with the email. A friend in Arizona. Oh, let me make sure. Yeah. A friend in Arizona who runs his own firm charges $5,000 flat fee plus $500 an hour on returns, lost 2 accountants to a competing firm who will be billing at $1,200 an hour. He can't find people who can do the work required of this level of billing, has zero need for someone with H&R Block training skills and experience. All right. So that's the high end. What would you bill out at 5,000? Like, are you talking Fortune 500 accounting, like finalization or something?
God, that seems awfully. I wouldn't even know. 5,000?
Unless it's a typo.
That could be a typo. 5,000, maybe 500.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But all right, there's abundance of accountants with a billable rate of 200 and below. So when he says billable rate, are we still in public accounting?
That's what it sounds like, unless he's working for a consulting firm, which I didn't get that impression. But
so, and I should maybe follow up with questions with him, but is that hole in the donut or the cream in the Oreo also existing in public accounting?
I think
Because like okay, the typical cycle of a Big Four public accounting entrant is you go in for a couple of years and you leave. You have only a few of the diehards that stick around, and then your high-end
yeah.
performers. So is it a soft labor market after 3 years or 4 years?
I think public accounting is in general a little more shielded from this thing. I mean, yeah, there's some hollowing out. There's still outsourcing a lot of things, but for better or for worse, the Big Four still has a name. Okay, they may not be able to get the top tier talent that they've had for decades, but they're still going to get, instead of the top, I don't know, 5%, they're getting the top 20%.
Right.
The problem is this is trickling down to other areas in accounting, like corporate accounting, where, now nobody can get a job because they're outsourcing everything else, that middle part, in corporate accounting. And so if you're one of these managers, like my friends that I was telling you, you're in kind of a vulnerable position, and you are going to get overworked and underpaid, because where else are you going to go?
Right.
Especially if you don't have a CPA.
Yeah, you could work security and study for the CPA. That's what I would do.
I can't believe that one couldn't. Anyway.
Well, that's why I'm saying they're going to have to get out of accounting. If you can't do I can do a W-2 tax return.
It gets worse, man. Like, of course they're unmarried. Of course they haven't dated anybody for years. They're like, they have cats. Like, they fit every stereotype imaginable.
Do you know whose problem that is?
Not ours.
That's a them problem. Them problem. So we replace them with the two friends required. I can't. Okay. Has zero need for someone with H&R Block skills, training, and experience. There is an abundance of accountants with a billable rate of $200 and below. Most firms would fire half of these accountants and replace them with a program. 2 CFOs also in Arizona want to retire, can't find replacements, but have to manage staff accountants. So this sounds like a public accounting because they have too many to do the work, as technology has made much of their jobs easier. Updating monthly, quarterly, yearly projections used to take weeks and was a nightmare for these dudes. Now takes a few minutes, as technology has made these tasks easy for smart people who can run the advanced systems and understand the limitations. Most important factor. I was an accounting major and still have many friends in the field. Offered jobs every time I returned to Arizona, but only for high-stress, high-paid jobs, which are brutal, life-altering, stressful jobs. If I wanted a low-stress, easy accounting job, it would be almost impossible to find one, as there's an oversupply of people who just want to do the 9-to-5 mundane corporate tasks, mostly women. He put it.
Did he say that?
Yeah, it says it right here.
Oh, geez.
I'm done with I'm done protecting people's feelings out of being polite, which sounds weird coming from me. But I have, like, okay, it's not germane. Well, I did. Yeah. But you don't see it because I do it. But it's like, yeah, ladies, you need to be told, hey, change your batteries in your smoke detectors and stop mentioning dumb stuff. We're doing it because we care. At the low end, who wants to deal with the single mom tax credit returns for the next 20 years? Well, Red Hawk does.
Yeah. I'll talk. So when we do my thing next week, my rant of the week, I'll talk to you about that. There's some people that are not handling that well, that are working at H&R. Yeah.
Okay. This is why there's a shortage at strip mall accounting firms. Terrible grind for a job that will never lead to anything more advanced. Right. But again, we look at the view for self-employment.
Yes. You only do that. You don't work at H&R thinking, oh, I'm going to rise in the ranks of H&R. No, you only want the experience. You can go off on your own. And that is where the shortage is. But please continue.
Right. Well, and then we also say you don't work at the Big Four longer than you have to. I mean, the accounting profession as a whole sucks.
Yes.
You do. And corporate America in general sucks. And thus, as a general policy, we're like, no, go and strike out on your own. But especially accounting, nowhere here. I mean, he's talking about the trifurcated market. I'm just saying, rehashing what we said a million times before, is like, ideally the goal is to get out. But here's another thing. This is philosophy. You have to accept it. Sometimes you got to leave corporate world. Like, I want to be a corporate guy. I want to be an economist and work through the corporate ranks. Life said, no, you're not. You're going to be a dance instructor and you're going to become somewhat entrepreneurial, whether you like it or not. And I think that's maybe, I know accountants have a mentality of, oh, I just want to be low risk and go work my job and all that. It's almost like those times are over.
Yeah, I think the real issue here is I think that there's some good chat comments about this.
Okay.
It used to be you could have some kind of like work-life balance. I'm not necessarily saying in public accounting, but corporate accounting it could be okay. Like there'd be month-end close. So, like 2 or 3 days out of the month, it'd be crazy. But most of the time it was all right. But yes, it's not just these public firms. Like corporate accounting firms are outsourcing a lot of the lower rung work that you have to fix because they're doing it wrong. So they're just trying to save money. And so they're cutting all the local staff.
You know whose problem that is?
Well, it ain't ours.
It's their problem. That's their
right.
Problem. Yeah. Tax prep is a great job if one wants to work 3 to 5 months a year and travel the rest of the year. Not going to lead to anything more than this. Nobody at a $500 an hour firm would ever hire someone from H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt experience, as this experience is useless for their clients. Right, but we're not advocating that.
We would never say go to H&R to get a job in corporate America.
Right.
No.
It really is go become an enrolled agent.
Experience. Yeah.
The accounting profession has struggled to attract intelligent people, and paying average accountants more is not going to do anything to address this shortage. Making requirements easier will also just let in more average people to the profession, making the filtering costs higher and longer in duration. This is why you are receiving conflicting opinions on the accounting shortages and abundances. For most of your listeners, the tax prep job will be great for a few years, but until someone has done 1,000 single mom tax credit returns, it's impossible to describe the monotony and grind of the job. Oh, I don't know. I think Parker and Red Hawk kind of do a pretty good job of describing it.
They do, but they have the right attitude about it. So,
right. Conversely, until one has been sued 10 times doing $1,000 an hour plus returns and has to give 2 to 3 day depositions testimonies on accounting terms, processes, useless details, it is impossible to describe the stress of these jobs and why there is a shortage at this high level. I'm curious what he does.
Same.
He sounds really high end. 20 years ago, I did one expert witness case that paid an absurd $1,500 an hour and absolutely hated it. That's like $3,000 an hour today, man.
Yes. I'm very curious what he does. This sounds like nothing I've heard about.
Yeah, well, he's up there. I mean, he's got a view.
There.
Yeah. Never did it again. Have several friends who do this almost full time, have dealt with several death threats, have to carry, conceal, etc., and will die 20 to 30 years before I will. And why is there a shortage at this level? The big four are reporting. So I guess there's a level up there. I mean,
I think you already know this, but here's the thing. Who do you think comprises the vast majority of partners in public accounting firms? Not just big four, but what generation?
Boomers.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think these boomers, knowing what you know about boomers, do you think these boomers have a healthy attitude like, well, we'll allow people to rise in the ranks? Or do you think they pulled up the ladder behind them?
Oh, they pulled up yeah. You get kicked out of the baby boomer generation if you don't pull up the ladder. Like, you can't be a boomer.
Right.
They excoriate, or they
So this shortage is nothing more than them complaining that they can't find people to work at like garbage wages. Okay. Again, we're talking about this sector, not what you and I talk about on my channel.
Right.
So it's them trying to pull a fast one, basically saying, well, we just can't find anybody. I guess we just have to outsource everything, when all they're trying to do is just maximize their profits. That's it.
So an environment has formed where at the top level, where there's no fucking around.
Yeah.
There's a shortage because there just isn't enough people who made it through the ranks of public accounting or whatever and stuck around enough to do the $3,000 an hour jobs, which are high level,
apparently
decades of experience.
Yeah.
All right. And then on the low level, more due to the clientele being ass, is your shit Jackson Hewitt strip mall accountancy, which we're fully aware of, but there's ulterior aims and motives. Then you're Herman Hankowitz with 5 years experience accounts payable, accounts receivable, promoted to accountant supervisor. And now you're a senior staff accountant. And because corpos have a hate boner for Americans, they're going to outsource it to whatever group of people that's cheaper or software. That's where the softness is. We're not too sure about public accounting. And then so the people who are your rank and file accountants.
Yeah.
They're in a bad situation where they're either going to have to lateral moves to some other field in accounting.
Yeah.
And it's almost invariably going to be self-employment.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you got to get out of the entire industry as a whole.
I kind of feel bad. I know, they're on the other side of us and we want to laugh at their misfortune, the friends I was telling you about.
Yeah.
But they really don't have any realistic options because they're not willing to start over. And like I said, I can understand that. They're not willing to start over in another area in the industry. But I mean, they've sort of hit the glass ceiling in a sense because they don't have CPAs. They're forced to take on more work. And yeah, they're getting bad work, bad lower level work that they're responsible for. So where can they go? They're kind of screwed. They're stuck.
Well, to hell with them because I don't care about them because they vote against my best interest. So
yeah, of course.
But I do care about our audience where I'm applying for jobs and I can't get something. So to help diagnose the issue, we should be asking these people, okay, you can't find a job. And I know you have your theory about, are you autistic? Do you know how to socialize with people? Let's remove that aside. That's a factor. I'm not that was in the course. So it would help to say, look, if you happen to be in regular old corporate accounting, this is a bad part of the accounting industry to be in.
Very much.
And you are faced with kind of a life choice. You either become self-employed, or I guess you could CPA up and go public accounting.
Yeah. Which,
well, right. And I understand people, I guess long ago was beaten out of me that you just don't get to do what you want to do. You got to do what the real world wants you to do.
Yeah.
So I'm okay switching. I don't care. Is that where the money is? Fine. Let's go. But they may not. They may not want to work Big Four. They may want to have the family life and the accounting life or whatever, 9 to 5 and get back to see the family. So it could be that sector is. So if for those of you who say that you're having bad luck and all that, I would need to know what type of accounting job are you applying for? That might be it then, according to this guy's email and what we've been able to assess here.
I agree. Yeah. I think the emails that I get from people that do say, because I get them too. They're like, Chad, what are you talking about? I've got laid off a few months ago. I can't even get an interview. And then when I do feel like following up, I ask them, what's your demographic? What are your characteristics? Because I'm sorry, that matters. Do you have credentials? Are you a CPA? What type of work have you done? Where have you applied? And you know what? Some of them are overestimating how much money they should be demanding. And I've had to have some uncomfortable truths outlined. It's like, you're asking for too much, man. Like, you're not really that distinguishable from anybody else that's applying for these jobs. And you're the dreaded white male.
Yeah. Well, even more reason that you have to go self-employed.
Agreed.
I mean, look, let me ask you this. Do you think they're hiring some affirmative action hires to do the $3,000 an hour work?
I would be surprised. I think that's high stakes work where I don't know that. Well, what do you think?
No, they're hiring the best.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be a white male. They're like, no, we need Johnson. Get Johnson in here. He knows this. We cannot fuck this up. And
this is where it matters. Yeah.
Right. And this is where it matters. So, but down below, like, oh yeah, we can hire different colors of the rainbow and not really worry, which sucks for younger people because it's not meritocratic. But when you're talking, oh yeah, our client, like, or legal consequences, I'm like, yeah, they probably we get Jessie in here. She's the expert in that field. We can't be fucking around otherwise.
Yeah.
But until you get to that level, which you may not even want to get to that level, we could even say it's corporate America was never all that meritocratic to begin with. And you might as well, once again, you're invariably going to be forced to be doing some kind of form of self-employment.
And you know what I haven't really cracked yet, Clary, is if you're not interested in tax or you didn't go into tax, you're all about audit, which lends itself to corporate accounting, month-end close. I don't really know what you can do to be self-employed. You could do bookkeeping, but I mean, a lot of bookkeeping, but that doesn't, bookkeepers don't make as much money to start out with until you get a full Rolodex of clients, and then you can make it.
Yeah,
But
yes,
that takes time.
There's no, yes, Chad, it takes time. There's no solution. Oh my God, I got the cancer. Well, you guess you go through chemo. Oh my God, they're outsourcing all the jobs. This sure sucks. I'm like, you can sit there and say it sure sucks but inevitably you got to do something.
You got to do something. I guess my argument about, there's a shortage, so there's a shortage. I'm talking about what I do. I'm talking about in tax. You can get to capacity really, really fast in tax, really fast. I've gotten people just within the last year to capacity through my referrals alone. But if you're just going to do bookkeeping, it's a lot harder to get established. It takes longer, but it is an option for those that don't do tax.
It is an option, that it is. So, all right. Well, I'm glad we have this knowledge. Let's go to the comments and the super chat. Holy shit.
We got
15 super chats. What the hell? Dude, my super chats had not really dropped off a cliff, but they're less. Now we talk about accounting, and look at all this.
You want me to do it? Or?
Yeah, that's right. You got to do your job here.
Okay. Ain't no Tom Grossi for $5. When the IRS is abolished, won't accounting die? Do you really think the IRS is going to be abolished?
No, you will need, if they replace it with the sales tax, you will need a fair amount of agents doing sales tax work. But tax accountants will, I would say, be wiped out to the tune of about 85% will be wiped out. But there will be, there's other work you can do.
There's plenty other work you can do.
Yeah.
Bunker Rush for $5. I'll send over some H&R Block field reports. That'd be nice. Yeah. Cappy is right about the warm bodies comment. Was that where do you remember what you said?
I think they're not worried about enforcing their non-compete clause.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because I had a client come in and he sent a story. I think he's at H&R Block, and they're like, he's been there 2 weeks. They figured he ain't going to rob the joint. And so now they're giving him the keys to close up. And I know H&R Block is not glorious and it won't lead to employment in the big four, but dude, I think the ease at which people are getting employed, and there's no bullshit, and there's no college requirement, and there's no Karens, there's no HR at H&R Block. There's no human resources H&R Block for, Parker and King Crab and everybody else's purposes. It's, I mean, really, in today's world, we got to go through 5 rounds of interviews. Fuck off. Just to have a job, I think it's worth checking out.
Just say, like, Claire, you can work fully virtually wherever you want to. It's busy, very busy certain times of the year. Otherwise, you've got time off. I mean, I don't understand why everybody doesn't do this. But.
I think what you may have to change the subfield of accounting. Well, you are going to have to change the subfield of accounting that you're trying to pursue to make it work. But that's just something look, you're going to do way better just doing what the world tells you to do than what you want. It's sadly that's true. And if you could give up on like, oh, I don't like dealing with single moms asking, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of funny and entertaining. Like, oh, your husband's in jail. You filed for divorce, but you want to make sure you got the kids' tax credit thing. Like, okay, sure. And I just look out the window. Is your car nicer than mine? Oh, it is. Okay.
It's not funny when they happen to be one of your clients and they're like, I need you to file the return before I pay you because I need my refund so I can afford your fee. And it's like, well, your return ain't getting filed.
Your return ain't getting filed. Yeah. Nice hair job, dye job you got there.
My truth, the king.
The king.
For $5. Sounds like low level is a good choice because it's got a low barrier to entry. Yeah. High level is specialized, still a good choice, and the middle and intermediate level is getting soft. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like a microcosm of the country. The middle has been hollowed out. You have sort of the haves and the not necessarily the have-nots.
Yeah, or the rookies. Yeah, well, and I also think it helps to look through the lens of, are you self-employed or working for someone else?
Yeah,
that's the other variable. I'm sure we can make a diagram chart.
My truth, the king for $5. Also, Big Four is equivalent to basic chick complaining about no guys to date. They were used to having employees over in a barrel, but dudes' accountants are waking up. He's right. I mean, they've been frankly abusing fresh meat for years, straight out of college, and now people are just your recent grads are saying, no, I can do better.
Wouldn't it be interesting if business ethics was revisited and we're like, okay, We're not going to require ridiculous amounts of education. We're going to train our employees, and we're not going to outsource them overseas. And we'll be honest. I wonder if that would solve the problem here.
Oh, if only.
Oh, but you're not black or female. Oh, are we playing these games? Can you see where it's just, fuck it, I'm going to HR. And I'm opening up my little tax practice. Goodbye. Bye.
I can't wait. If there's a way they could suddenly automate HR where like there's no HR people that are local, that would be amazing.
That is going to be large corporations, Big Four or not.
Yeah.
They are becoming so bureaucratic and so politicized to the point they're dysfunctional that it's not healthy to work at these firms. Yeah. And they're not. You're just people like, I'm done. I'm not doing it.
Dung is fun for $2. Look at Cappy's double dipping. Yeah, we just did
we're just swapping out super
channel.
chat. I think I'm going to owe you a little bit more because I got a little bit more super chat. So
Bunker Rush for $5. Private equity buying yes. Private equity buying accounting firms and fundamentally changing the incentive structure to reach for the highest levels. Have you heard about this yet, Claire?
I am learning about private equity taking over different businesses. I did not know they're taking over private accounting firms.
So they're trying. What these private equity firms are trying to do, they recognize the shortage, in tax. Mm-hmm. So they're buying up these firms, and they're basically trying to figure out a way to maximize the money they make short term. Mm-hmm. And then they can bail out and just leave whatever heaping mess is there. And they're doing this with a lot of outsourcing. They're eliminating staff that have been there.
That would explain why half the restaurants I used to go to have become absolute shit. This private equity thing, again, not a Democrat. Short version, so someone finally explained it to me. The PE ratio in the S&P 500 right now is like around 35. Okay. That's ridiculously high. On average, it used to be 15, going back to 1871. You were literally paying twice the amount in stock price that you used to have to back in the day. All right. In other words, if you buy a stock and earnings don't grow, which doesn't happen, but they don't grow, it's going to take you 35 years to get your money back. Chad, is that a good rate of return?
No.
That's like 3% rate of return.
Yeah.
Private equity groups are like, okay, there's private companies, more or less the same assets. We can buy them, buy a bunch of them, package them as a deal. Like you said, short term, make their finances look good before everyone bails on the company and sell it to a bigger fish and make our money that way. That's what they're doing. And that's why, if you're wondering, why did my restaurant chain go to shit? Why is my mechanic not doing shit right? Why are the accounting? I didn't know they're taking over accounting firms. Why is this going to shit? It's because private equity. And Chad, what type of managers are these? Are these smart, intelligent Warren Buffett types, or what kind of men run these organizations?
Men that don't really have experience in management the way they need to in these specific boomers. Is that what you're getting? Bro. Yeah,
bro.
Let me just say that there are in the accounting groups on Reddit and some other areas that talk about what's going on with these private accounting firms and accounting. From the trenches, it doesn't sound good. Like they're like locusts.
Well, it's coming to an end because interest rates have gone up.
Yeah,
these dude bros can't get 1.8% financing no more, and it's a couple of these private equity funds have collapsed.
Yes.
So I think again it will come to an end. It's going to be a slow end because dude bro, but people don't have 5 to 10 years to wait around for it to turn around. You're going to have to go do something else.
Dre, good to see you, Dre. You
hey,
missed my
here he
stream. What time is it where you
I'm
are?
glad you didn't donate to Chad when we were on Chad's. That's right. You make your $2 super chats
it's
here.
Okay, Dre. We got 5 $2 super chats from Dre. What are Chad's thoughts on the external revenue service? I mean, I think it's kind of funny, but my hope is that it does sort of come to fruition. And I'm going to be charitable here. You know how Doge or whatever, they're basically bribing all of these federal employees to take a buyout, and get paid for the next 8 months or whatever. Mm-hmm. I do think that eventually, if there is an external revenue service, the IRS or whoever federal employees may eventually get rehired for the external revenue service.
Which not necessarily a bad thing.
That's what I was saying. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Do we hate the men and women at the
No,
IRS?
I
We do
don't
not.
hate them at all.
Do we
Despite the
hate?
shirt,
Yeah. Do we hate the code they have to enforce?
Yes.
Yes.
Even if a more complex code is good for me, yeah, I still hate it. It's too much.
Do we like Harvey?
Yes, I've been emailing him.
I'd love to meet Harvey. I know we never will until he retires. Harvey, when you retire, we got to have a big retirement party for you.
I almost convinced Harvey to come on my channel and be totally anonymous, just completely. Nobody would know who he was.
No.
But he correctly was like, I think it's too risky, and he's right. Like it wouldn't be a good idea. Yeah. My Truth, the King. And to touch on the exporting hard-skilled job slots as DEI did, Cappy, does the future of accounting might be to outsource to the competent, like cities and governments outsource to contractors?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
All right. He's asking if I think is the future of the accounting industry to outsource city and local government accounting work to contractors and 1099s instead of having like dedicated staff.
They might get that. I mean, it's up to the state and the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the county. I mean, that's going to be up to them. Generally, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say in an overall economic sense, your large established corporations, publicly traded or not, and the people who currently head them up are so bureaucratic, office politics, and more modernly DEI let's just say woke politics in general.
Yeah.
They are not going to be functional. And if you want my truth, I don't know if you ever read it. I wrote an article a while ago called "Let Women Have Corporate America." Because Chad, is working in corporate America fun?
No, God.
No, it's not.
I wouldn't be able to.
And if already corporate America, before the political bullshit, was barely profitable long-term and was pretty corrupt, you throw in actual politics, if this time happens to be of the leftist variety, these are not going to be functional entities for the long. In other words, your modern day woke, politicized corporation in America, it will not last long. They simply will not last.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this has already happened at a firm called Ubisoft and some other video game companies that hired a bunch of woke activists for their writers and managers and all that. Chad, did the programming get done? Nope. They had to outsource it to some nerds.
Right.
And that's why I think the future really is 1099 contract work, because you're left the fuck alone. They're desperate when they come to you, say, oh yeah, all that racist, sexist horse shit you were doing, fuck you. It's $500 an hour. And they got to pay. They got to pay because they got political activists. They don't have programmers or dentists or whatever else have you. So I think down the road, especially in the public sector, will be so politicized, they will have to get their books done. So they will probably contract out to the private sector and independent contractors.
And just because some people actually get confused about this, 1099 means you're self-employed. Okay. A contractor means self-employed.
What race do you want to belong to?
The 1099 race.
The 1099 superior race.
Yes.
Correct.
Louis for $20. Luis. Hey, Aaron, about to finish Coursera bookkeeping certification tonight. Then Intuit BK exam and pro. Bookkeeping exam and pro advisor.
That's right. You're only an accountant. You don't know much about it. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. I got the book for dummies accounting workbook, as you said, free PDF book of quote bookkeeping workbook for dummies. How to start strong for money. Thank you. Well, you just gotta, accumulate some experience, get some clients, start with don't immediately dive into like some conglomerate with like, crazy entities that you have to reconcile.
Right. Just Luis, I don't know if you took the course, the World's Greatest Accounting Career, but there's like steps where it's like, yes, you get certified in, what did you say? Yeah, the Intuit bookkeeping exam. Okay, so you're in there. You should be able to set up a profile within Intuit that if people are looking for bookkeeping accountants, your profile will be there. That being said, you're a rookie, man. You need to go and work for someone else. There's nowhere in any of our advice or paths or anything you recommend do you go straight from getting your certifications in education, or whether self-taught or or more formally through a college degree to self-employed. You can't. You need to go work somewhere. So I would go look for contract work. I go accounts payable, receivable, kind of entry, payroll, things like that.
Yeah, temp jobs. Yeah.
Would you recommend temp jobs? Like he tries a little bit this, a
for
little
the
bit
experience. Sure. Yeah, for the experience. If
Okay,
you
so
get it.
yeah, well, I don't know if you just start off as an entry-level accountant somewhere and they kind of give you so you would probably be going into corporate accounting somewhere. If you get contract work, do it right off the bat because that's self-employment. But yeah, this is going to be at least 2 years of you getting experience to the point that you're a functional bookkeeper and you can do the full accounting cycle, take receipts and turn them into a 1040 form or a Schedule C or a Schedule E.
Yeah. By the way, Clary, I can't believe we did this on the stream that we just did on my channel. We didn't pimp the course. How could we have forgotten to do that?
I don't know. Do you know how many
Ugh.
times I've been accused of being a grifter because I offer a course on accounting?
That'd be like the least grifting course, but
Do
anyway.
you know how many times I've cared that I've been called a grifter?
Probably goose egg on that one.
Big old goose egg. That's all right. That's all right. But thanks, Louise, for the generous $20.
Yeah. Nonstop Dre for $2. But Chad, they say AI will replace accountants and CPAs. I'm kind of tired of answering that. Like, do you think AI is going to be a problem?
In defense of everyone, maybe not AI, but in that soft part of the Oreo cookie, are they not being, they're outsourced. Yeah. They have been replaced with technology, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's accounting software. I don't know about AI though.
I don't know if it's there yet, but it might be. I maintain my belief that it's going to be a while before AI is sophisticated enough to handle high level tax preparation. High level, not low level.
Even a couple years back, one of the episodes you did was where you tested AI. Wasn't it ChatGPT? You asked them a bunch of accounting questions.
Yeah, and they got it wrong. So apparently TurboTax, I got this anecdotally, but TurboTax has an app. You can scan your W-2 and supposedly it just does your tax return. But again, that's just if you have a W-2 and some very easy tax
That's
form.
not AI. That's
that's normal
underwriting. That's OCR. What was it called? Optical font recognition. Yeah, like when you scan in your checks.
Right, yeah.
That's all that is. Yeah, that's
Bob for $5. If you bring enough clients in H&R, you'll work on a commission. It is where the money is if you do taxes. I heard people making $25K to $100K in 4 months. I'll have to talk to Red Hawk and maybe Parker about that. I'm sure you get some commission if you pull in the clients, but I mean, I can't imagine they'd give you that much to the point.
Sounds like an awful lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what H&R should be paying for?
What's that?
Us to be recruiters for them. If they gave us, I should go walk down to the H&R block office. Say, hey, I got a podcast with this buddy of mine. What if we could deliver you workers? Would we get a kickback on that?
I hope you're able to be available. I hope you're going to be available for my rant next week because and we have to give all sides. Somebody had an awful experience at H&R recently. So in fairness, I need to share that.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to go along with that. Each office is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was in the ghetto, so you are correct. Dung is fun. Elkins, I thought your t-shirt said defend the IRS. I don't know. I've been defending the IRS a lot lately just because it's like you said, we don't dislike the people who work there. There's just, it's not a very well-run agency.
We defend the employees.
Yes.
We want to get rid of the tax code.
Yeah.
That's kind of how, if that makes any sense.
Dre again for $2. How much would Cappy make if you stayed in banking? What were you? You were an underwriter.
I was everything from a entry-level underwriter to a vice president and an economist.
You'd be miserable.
I'd be miserable, but the question is, how would if I kept working the way I would, I don't think I ever would have. Maybe just now I'd be breaking 100,000.
Just maybe. Now, 20 some odd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because when you're an underwriter, you're in a compromised position. The reality is this: here's the tax returns, and then you got some needle dick banker who can't see his dick because he's got a gut. Like, it's like, listen to me. don't bother with commercial underwriting. Never become a commercial analyst. There's no reason. Just don't even bother with it because you'll do your job. Here's the numbers, and they're going to bitch and whine because most people in America are not credit worthy. You shouldn't lend to most people in America. So it's just avoid. But if I just went along and approved all the loans and all that, I probably would have been making $250,000. Probably would have been a senior VP back in the day. Now maybe looking at president of commercial lending. Oh yeah, guy my age, 50. Yeah, I would have been like president of a division by now. $250,000, maybe 300,000. You couldn't pay me enough though. You couldn't. No way. No way.
I had one banking job in my life, and it wasn't really a banking job. It was an internship between my first and second year of MBA program, and it was an internal audit at a bank. God, that was the worst. It was boring. It was just, I hated
I
being
know.
a
And then you had to bang your boss.
Yeah, that's because I knew I wasn't going
yeah.
to stay, and I'm like, hey, might as well.
I can honestly say I never wanted to bang a single boss I've ever had in my life.
She was
Not
my
one.
age at the time.
I'm not judging you. You don't have to give me excuse. I'm proud of you.
Hey, Rare thought it was cool. Dre, for $2, how much would Chad be making if he stayed in the Big Four? So that was in 2011. I was a senior tax accountant. I think I wouldn't be a partner. There's no way I'd be partner by now.
Director?
I probably would have made accounting manager. I think I'd be stuck at the manager level. So I'd be making, over 6 figures, but it wouldn't be worth the hours. It wouldn't be worth the sucky schedule. It would just suck to be working at a Big Four past entry level.
If there was only a way to make 6 figures without having to work at the Big Four or a large corporation, like if there was a path to show you how to do it, you know what? And not only make 6 figures with enough time under your belt, mind you, but then also be able to work from wherever you want.
Yes.
And be your own boss. If there was only a path to that, could you fathom such a resource or such a valuable life map?
I heard about this course where they sort of give you a path to do this that doesn't require a college degree. It doesn't require any types of major, like years-long certifications. We might recommend the EA, but yeah, there is a course.
There's wait, but if it's a course, then you got to be a grifter.
Who's calling you a grifter?
No, just fucking losers. It's a joke. Like okay. Do you remember? I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but like if a band did really well, they call them a sellout because they got like a record label.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, oh, you mean the superior musician who's talented got a record deal and you're just jealous and you call them that's all I could figure out what sellout meant is it was the talentless or less talented lazy musicians who didn't get a record deal. And so then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got this expertise or I could save people a lot of money and time. I'll put together this course because the fucking boomers, left this field wide open. So anytime you offer a book or you do this, there's this segment of like, your talentless musicians go, hey, a grifter. So it doesn't mean anything. It's like the word racist. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Let me look. So my name is attached to the course. I really don't feel like this is any kind of grift because we are not promising anything. Okay. We're not saying, oh, you're going to be a millionaire. We're just saying, look, if this type of situation interests you, this is the most direct way you can make it work. That's all we're saying.
I will provide a guarantee though.
Yeah.
It will save you the $150 in teaching you how to get your education a lot more affordably than what Chad did. Chad, what would you have saved?
Oh, God. Yeah, even more of a regret than dating Cuddlewooks. I spent about $100,000. That does not include the lost wages, the opportunity cost for those 2 years to get a degree I didn't need at a very expensive school.
Yeah, that's where I have no problem with the courses or the books I offer because if you do what's in them, you're gonna more than earn back like tenfold easy.
But even if you don't, it's $150. Like, geez.
Right. Well, and you know what? Maybe they don't go into accounting and say, like, even with this, I don't want it.
It's not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me. Then you found out. You didn't have to go to college for 2 years to figure out. But if this course existed, what would you title it?
Whew, what would I call it?
Don't lose your voice.
I'll be tame. The world's greatest accounting career.
It's good. Try like That's like you're on a stage for an 80s hair band. You're trying to get the fans excited. What if it's more like a James Bond? You know, it's the world's greatest accounting career.
The world's greatest accounting career.
Gosh, the world's greatest accounting career.
Somebody goes in the chat, $150 is a carton of eggs. And he's like, I mean, Daddy and a caddy for $2. Shortage is for seniors and above only, not entry level. Yeah, so yes and no, because entry level, they're still able, like I was saying, they're still able to get people. It's just not the creme de la creme like they used to be able to get. And remember, that's big four. Or maybe you're just talking about general corporate accounting, like that. Okay, I think that's what you meant. Yeah, the Plains Warrior for $2. Chad has the cool mood lighting for the ladies. Well, here's where Clary gets to brag about the gift.
I bought it for him.
Yeah,
you could find it. Yeah, Plains. If you're in, it's cool. It's only like
I love it.
$30, I think. It really adds. If you go online, you could find them.
Since we're talking about it, let me click the option where it changes colors just so you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're talking it up.
I'm excited about it too. It's just going to blur in the background, but go ahead and have it rotate color. Anyway, the world's greatest accounting career. You can find it on Teachable. I do believe I have it linked below. So $150 plus tax. And for those of you interested in an accounting career, you should really probably take that course before you drop a shit ton of money on college and training and all that. All right, now it's blue, turning kind of turquoise and yellow.
It usually has been, yeah.
Yeah, you get some ladies with purple. Yeah. Should play some Barry White in the background.
Anything for a lady. Naughty DJ Aftershock for $2. Dude, bro, but look at the partners, McMansion, bro. God, these big four partners are just despicable.
Well, okay, I looked up what they made. They make on average like $850,000 a year. That's average. Like they got real money,
options. Right? Yeah, they have plenty of money. The ones in Chicago, like the boats you see, like our buddy that you and I know, who he's on there. He sails a lot. He knows some of them because he used to work as a consultant in one of the big four, and he'd be like, "Oh, that's so and so's boat," and it'd be this giant yacht partner.
Dude, if I make million, I ain't getting no boat. I think I'm getting a P-51 fighter plane. That's what I would get. If I had an egregious purchase, it'd be a P-51. I'm not getting no boat.
Dre for $2. When did Merritt die? When did Merritt die? I mean, not. It's not dead. It's just certain organizations choose to prioritize some other things.
I'd like to say Merritt never really mattered because it's always been, you look at the European kingdoms, that it was always my son and he gets to get the throne. Oh, there's a usurper and all that. It's never, humans are gross. They're just fucking gross. Merritt, despite human nature, I think peaked probably around the 50s, maybe early 60s, and then it went to shit.
What made it go shit?
Huh?
What do you think made it?
We got soft. It's the Heinleinian circle or cycle. Good times, weak men, bad times, good men. Yeah. I think that's when it died out. I won't mention which generation brought about its demise. Rhymes with loomers.
Oh, yeah. Doomers. Daddy and a caddy for $5. CPA as of January 2025. Well, congratulations. Very recent. Got multiple six-figure offers in 2024 Q1, Q2, and you deferred them to study for your CPA. But in Q3, the market definitely flipped. Only one offer. Some of this may be timing of the year.
Well, yeah, you're right. It could be seasonal. But I will say this. I think that we are definitely a recession territory or a very weak economy. Let me take a look at GDP growth. 2.3% in the fourth quarter of 2024. I doubt that. I really doubt that. Yeah, I don't believe that. No. What I see on the ground is a lot of people, especially tech. The economy may not be in a full-blown recession, but it's weak. Certainly the labor market. I don't believe that GDP figure.
Yeah. DJ for $2. Thanks private equity, Harvard MBA bros at BlackRock and
KKKR.
Yeah. What is that? Dung is
Oh,
fun
come
for
on.
$2. The future is autism.
Oh,
Tell me
I'm
I'm
out.
wrong. You don't hear me?
I'm here. There.
You hear
Just
me? Do you hear me?
yeah, there we go. Yep.
From
Communication.
Dung is fun. The future is autism. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, look at who got hired to try to audit the government spending. It was all autists, wasn't it?
Yeah, good ones. Yeah, Rain Man. Yeah, I don't. You can't have an autistic society. You just can't.
Will you grant me 20 seconds just for a second? Look,
Sure.
Accountants, it's the secrets. It doesn't matter how good you are at your job and your experience. You have to have some social graces. You can't just be a spurg at networking events or interviews. I suppose that's obvious, but this is a weak part of some in the industry.
How do they know that they are, though? Like, I was never big for
know.
networking events. Like, I'm gonna go walk in and like, hey, I'm Aaron.
Listen, man, I hate it too, but some of these, I'm just keeping it real. Some of the accountants I've come across, the younger ones, I've done consultations with them. They're just awkward. Like, they make you feel, you know what? You're stuck in a conversation with a weird person. You just can't wait to exit.
Yeah.
Some of the guys I've had consultations.
A podcast with this guy called Chad. Man, I can't wait to get. He goes on about autism and accounting.
I think he's having some problems.
You should write a book called Autism in Accounting.
You know, remember how I asked you? Can you teach somebody how not to be a spurg? Is that a course that
I am not kidding? That is a chapter in the course because you insisted on it being there.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I put it in there, and I'm not some expert therapist, but I went through how to have conversations.
Yeah.
The whole point of the nature of a conversation is just other people waiting to talk their turns. Just autists talk way too much about themselves. And if you can realize you don't exist, this is the very, very, very short version. If you can realize you don't exist, you become a great conversationalist.
Yes.
No one cares about you. And when you ask people about them, they think you're the greatest guy ever, even though you didn't say a fucking thing about yourself.
Right. And I'm not trying to be a jerk by saying this. I just see it as a weak point for some of the Gen Z. Gen Z is a little bit awkward. Some of them.
Sure. I'll just say everybody in general, no one gives a shit about you. They don't care about your day. They're just wanting to talk about themselves. And once you figure that out, you could be autistic, but if you could shut up and ask them about themselves, yeah, it should work.
Dre, for $2. When did dude bros become a thing? The 80s?
Yeah, frat boy movies.
Wall Street.
Yeah. The jocks in what was the John Belushi movie?
Animal House. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was kind of early 80s when it started.
Sean Whelan for $4.99. How to convince CPAs to take the PFS exam. Do you know what that is? PFS?
You're the accountant, personal financial
statement exam, and open up their book of businesses. Oh, yeah. So you're a wealth manager. Okay. Open up their book of business to wealth managers so they can make more money, fee splitting. So, I did a stream on this about 9 months ago, and you were on it. You remember how I was like, should CPAs partner up with financial planners for clients?
You were against it in general.
Yes. So this is why. And look, this is just my experience, in my opinion. A lot of people disagreed with me about this. Sean, I always felt like the financial planners got way more out of it than I did as the CPA, because it almost didn't matter whatever my cut was. I was constantly getting hit up by the clients that these financial planners had brought into me. And I was like, yeah, it's nice to get maybe a little bit of money, but I didn't do this to be on retainer. And so I'd have to do this whole song and dance where I'd have to go back to the financial planner and be like, look, man, I either have to raise the rates here, or you're going to have to take over filtering these questions that I'm constantly getting. So to me, it just led to competing priorities. But just that said, it's a good way. If you don't have any clients, I will say it's a good way to get a lot of them, possibly. DJ Aftershock for $2. We should hope AI replaces K through 12 teachers.
YouTube's already done. Books have done that. You teachers are just. It's not that the technology is that good. It's that teachers have become that bad. And in defense of the teachers, the schools, they have to work within the rules and regulations have become impossible. You just homeschool your kids, for the love of God. Just homeschool your kids.
Yeah. My truth the king. Bro, dude, I'm over here getting that commish at the block. I gotta ask Red Hawk about that. I never heard that. That you can.
I think we should be in charge of H&R Block's marketing. We call it the block, and just
block.
The block. Guy pulls up in like a Hellcat.
Justified misogyny for $2. He got a job. Government accounting is not bad, just bureaucratic. Right. He got a job in a type of government accounting role, and he and I had a consultation, and he's in a good spot, I think.
More important question: when the hell is Justified moving down to Mexico to build his house, where he has to build me my own room facing the ocean? When is he going to do that? What's this reliable government work here, Justified? What the hell's going on?
I know when he's going to do it.
Soon?
No, I don't know. Dre again for $2. Cape can only be a 75% sellout to be technical. Yes. What?
Quarter Jewish.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody left an unkind comment about you on my last stream, which obviously I didn't read. So
was it because I'm quarter Jewish?
Yeah. So
really?
Don't worry about it.
I know. I always get a kick. I've never been to a synagogue. It's only by my grandma. I've never held a Torah. And everyone, dude, the amount of like weirdos out there. Oh, he's a Zionist. Oh, he's like, it's like, dude, okay, you know what? Now I really am thinking about going and joining a synagogue and maybe going through the catechism, just to piss you people off.
Gem Diver for $3.50. Hey, Cappy, here's your tree fitty.
Tree fitty.
Loch Ness Monster. Oh, Lord.
Tree fitty. Dung is fun for $5. Because I have to pay 100% of my taxes, why can't I pick out where it goes to? If I did it, it would not go to worthless programs because I'm responsible. Have you been following this USAID?
Yeah, no, I talked about, it's watch my video about how we're going to have to inevitably look at disability claims from veterans. But yes, I go into USAID and surprise, it was just a money grab for Democrats. Oh, but they're for the little people. I'm so fucking I'm done with normal Democrats in my life. I'm like, just shut up. Just shut the fuck up.
Just as an aside, being back up there and catching up with a lot of friends I hadn't seen, remember, almost all of them are Democrats. Yeah. So it was just like getting a peek behind the curtain about how miserable they are right now. And they are miserable.
Well, good. And I don't care. I went through enough shit being called things I'm never. So wait, explain this to me, Chad. So I'm a Zionist pig, according to some people. And then everybody else, I'm literally the guy with the funny mustache. Square it for me. How can I be both?
I think it just shows that you can appeal to a very wide audience. So good for you.
Yeah, I got the other guys, right?
Sacco for $4.99. Have either of you ever read the book, quote, The Creature from Jekyll Island? Any chance Doge could have audited the Fed?
I've not read it. And I think there is a chance Doge will audit the Fed because I think Trump's goal is to just expose all this stuff, whether or not it goes through the courts or actually makes it through Congress is another thing. I think he's just had enough. Plus, they did try to kill the guy.
Yes.
So he is full on a tear, and you're not going to stop him. And he's going to expose all this stuff, and then interim elections. So if the Republicans in Congress don't help him out now, he'll just wait for interim elections. Say, here's all the corruption. It's almost squarely all on Democrats. And he would have then the political. I don't think he has. You need the political collateral to go and do these certain things. He doesn't care. You try to kill him. It's his last term. I wouldn't be surprised if he audits the Fed.
I'd love it. I just have this prediction that he's going to be faced with a lot of sabotage and difficulty getting this done. When he tries to.
He's aware of that, or at least he should be. Mm-hmm. But right now, he's just demonstrating this to the American people, so people wake up and realize just how bad the Democrats have been for all this time. Now, your true believers up in Chicago, who like their burnings built down and people stealing their shit, that's a little bit different. But your rank and file normal people are kind of like, oh, wow, the Democrats are evil, despite what they told me.
I just got to say it again. If my friends there knew the real me,
I don't know why you have friends. Are they your friends, or are they just kind of like associates and colleagues you hang out with occasionally?
They're just ones I hang out with occasionally. They were among the first people I met when I moved to Chicago 13 years ago. So,
Right.
you know, I kept them, but we're just far apart on a lot of
Yeah.
things.
No, I mean, I've met nice Democrats, but even the naive ones, like, oh, yeah, like, no, I don't have time for you. Just no, not dealing with it.
Daddy and a caddy for $2.
Oh,
Chat.
sorry.
Oh, Chad
There
the
we go.
Chad. Save some donuts. Save some dough for the rest of us.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Daddy and a caddy again for $2. Oi, hey, Aaron imitating Operation Bagel.
Oil.
What do we got there? We got coins
bagels and
or
money, and they got the
bagels,
Star of
money.
David.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not kidding. Okay, Jews know how to cook. They got some good food. All right. I found a Jewish deli on the west side of town. Chad, we got to go there. I mean, the pastrami sandwiches are like this. The guys from New York.
Yeah.
I mean, and the pieces of cake. It's just huge. It's just huge. It's amazing.
I did live in New York City for a year before grad school, and yeah, Kat's Deli down in Lower Manhattan. Good. Clary, Red Hawk is in the chat, so I just want to throw this out. Red Hawk, we heard something about how, and maybe you mentioned this one time, if you bring in
let me see if I can get him in.
He's in the chat. Yeah, if you bring in clients from H&R that you brought in, you get a commission for that, right? And if so, what is it? If you're able to share.
Red,
I sent
Red. I sent you an invite, so if you want to come on and explain it, that'd be cool.
Nonstop Dre for $2. People hate how Cappy disciplines dogs. Do you ever get to see the dog of?
No. Ivy the dog of no real value. I saw her once very briefly last year, and I haven't seen her this year yet. And her owner is, in love and busy, and they got their own life. It's not my dog, but I miss it. And I offered, I texted her and I said, hey, I'll dog sit. If you go away, I'll watch over the dog. But I really miss that dog. I enjoyed going to it's just happy to have a creature that is happy to go do whatever, just excited about life, no matter what. And so I kind of miss that dog.
What's up, hey, Red Hawk. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, fellas?
Did you worked today, right?
I did. I was in for 9.5 hours today, and I'm in for 12.5 tomorrow. So
those are rookie numbers. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Gen X, Hawk. We'll
I had to work
your
a lot today
application.
too, for what it's worth. Yeah.
yeah. So what are you guys talking about? I literally just hopped in the chat. So,
well, somebody earlier had mentioned that at H&R, if you work at H&R Block, is it true that whenever you personally bring in a client to H&R, you get some commission for that, right?
Yes, you do. However, amazingly, Chad, so today's Friday, so it was payday today, right? And it's a bi-weekly pay structure, and they because I'm a returning I'm a second year, right? So I get different pay structure, and I do get this commission of which you speak. However, I actually fuck these people. That's all I gotta say. Like of the commission structure, right? Because they give you a very detailed breakdown of what actually is part of your commission. It's like, oh well, you get a 18% commission on certain things that you bring into the business, right? And on paper that sounds, oh well, that's actually not too bad, because if you're getting 18%, if you see like 10 12 clients a day, like 18% of each thing you do, well, that's not too bad, right? However, Chad, do you know how you could take the standard deduction and the itemized deduction? It's almost the exact same thing with this bullshit, in the sense of you can either take your hourly rate or you could take your commission, in the sense they've versed them against each other. So so
that's
essentially
terrible.
so they will deduct your commission rate based off of your quote unproductive hourly time, in the sense of if you are in the office and there's no like client assigned to you during that time, that's an hour that marks against. So they will subtract your hourly wage from your commission. And if you aren't making more on commission, they give you the hourly. And I'm like, my God, I just want to kill everyone right now.
I had a high opinion of HR, and now it's like, oh, okay. Chad, remember when we were talking about business ethics?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So I'm just going to read it. Bob, if you're still in the chat, he said, He goes, if you bring in enough clients at H&R, you will work on commission. It's where the money is if you do taxes. I heard people making 25K to 100K in 4 months. That's why I wanted to ask you about it, but that doesn't sound accurate.
I mean, I suppose it's hypothetically possible, yes. But is it likely? I wouldn't really say so. I mean, I guess it might work if you like work for H&R for like 5 or 6 years and you have the same clients coming to you every single time, because you would constantly have somebody filling up like your office time, right? You have a stockpile of clients that you can space out and, don't really have much free time. So I guess it is hypothetically possible. I mean, in this case, it kind of kicked me in the ass by moving across the country into another office, which I mean, I guess was nice because I just got to slot right in and work at another one. And, just like I was talking about previously, give me a call the day of, and basically everything's going fine in my offices. I've got my boss on a fucking leash, man. It's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, okay. So aside from the commission structure, then H&R still good?
Yeah, it's still fine.
Right.
I mentioned, well, I guess this is turning into like a mid-season update, I guess. But I remember on the show a couple of weeks ago, I was mentioning how I was hoping I wouldn't get locked into a structure of just working on very simple returns. But I actually requested some work on some more difficult stuff, like a lot more small businesses, a lot more Schedule Cs, and they're giving them to me. So
that's great.
I'm getting to work on harder stuff. Yeah.
I need a favor, Red Hawk. Can you, in the private chat, send your email? I have to forward you something I got today.
Yeah, sure.
You have to see this. You don't necessarily have to read it now, but you have to see
Why am
this.
I out of the loop? Why don't
I'm going to put you on it too.
All right. Well,
yeah.
You nerds can't have all the fun.
No, this is what I was maybe going to talk about on my stream next week, but I want you guys to see this. So.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad you could come on there, Red Hawk. You want to stick around a little bit? We'll finish off these super chats.
Yeah, sure. I'll stick around.
Okay.
I got nothing else going on tonight. So
okay. So here's what's funny. We got like 36 super chats on a Friday night. Like that's where people are. That's our audience. Nobody's got dates tonight.
I guess
it's our people.
It's Valentine's Day next week, so.
This is the first time I ever did. So Red Hawk, I had a stream earlier that Clary was on, so we did this back to back. Like this is the first time I've ever done a stream on Friday night, and there were a lot of people there.
Did the candidate decorate your office? No.
Well, Clary got this light.
Really?
A while back. Yeah, Clary got. Really? So when he comes on, we'll show it to him.
Just I'm a cool guy. I got taste. Okay. All right, look at this.
Clem joke for $20. Thank you. Tax question. If the Donald succeeds in abolishing the federal income tax, would it be correct to assume monies contributed and gains realized while tax codes were in effect will still be taxed upon withdrawal? So I think he's asking, if you cash out stock and there's capital gains, yet there's no more income tax, or if you're taking your retirement that's not a Roth, meaning you're supposed to be taxed on it, would there be no more tax? I have kind of a hard time believing that you would get off scot-free on those. Personally.
Yeah, the capital gains is not an income tax, I don't think. Your retirement withdrawals are treated as income. So, but they get structured however they wanted in the Congress and create the law. I mean, the income tax is just one of many taxes at the federal level. Yeah. So, and then it would be like, okay, well, how are we going to treat is capital gains considered an income or what? How wide of a scope? The income tax, if they got rid of just that, it would simplify things a lot, and they would have to replace it with a sales tax. But we're at the point where it would be great if you just got rid of all the IRS code and said, here's your sales. You could replace it with one number with a percentage sign at the end of it. That's it. We're done. So that would be the ideal world. But I'd be very happy if you just got rid of the income tax and made it so we didn't have to file income taxes anymore.
Oh, but Cappy, how would we fund, $5 billion donations for condoms in Gaza?
I don't know, and that is not my concern. But you know what's funny? Not to make it political again. I love the Democrats defending this shit. Like they're like, oh my God, I can't. Like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking
Babylon B is having a field day.
It's so wonderful to watch them squirm right now. They have
great.
all. They have fuck all. It's great.
If the Republicans were this corrupt, I'd be like, what the fuck? Throw those fuckers out. But they're just so wedded. I'm not talking the politicians. They're the ones invested in this. But these Democrat rank and file people are, Trump just like, dude, just admit your party is corrupt. Okay. Kick the fuckers out. But for now, please, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Admit they're fucking corrupt. And no, we can't even get that, because the children or the minorities or whatever other horse shit. And it's just like, that's why this is why I don't live in Minnesota anymore.
Red Hawk, you've got mail, but I mean, you don't have to read it now, but check that out.
I'll check it out after.
Yeah. Dung is fun for $5. Donald Trump can't get rid of the major government groups, but with Elon, he can get rid of the smaller groups that are funded by bigger ones like CIA.
Yeah. Well,
that's
also
what all the USAID stuff is, because
Yeah.
USAID is just the financial arm of the CIA.
Seems like it.
Here's the other thing. He needs to go after all these grants, because all these nonprofits, media, activist groups, they get their money from the federal government and state as well. And if you cut this, we don't have to listen to them anymore. And then they got to get real jobs. And then you might actually have a media that isn't biased and complete astroturf bullshit.
God, did you see how Politico was $8 million?
Yeah,
completely fake.
Did you see their articles about how dare you accuse us? We're not taking money. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, they said they went on to say that no, these subscriptions are people paying for access to our articles, and then you do the numbers of how many subscriptions they had. It was like 38 of them, and when you do the math, it's like 38 subscriptions each for $80,000 a piece. It's like, fuck you. Who the fuck is paying that much for a premium subscription, you lying son of a bitch?
Nope.
Red Hawk, did you see what Chelsea Clinton gets?
No, I didn't see that.
What did she get?
She got like 83 million from these various USAID related
$83 million.
NGOs.
Yep.
For what? It's like, for what?
Access to her parents.
The child trafficking that they do, but alleged. Yeah.
My Truth, the King, for $2. Seems private equity got their hands on the block, dude, bro. Did they? did private equity take H&R? I don't think they did.
I don't know.
Hang on, let me look it up.
I don't know. I know that commission breakdown really pissed me off today.
That's a screw job, dude.
Yeah. That was I don't know. Like, I'm trying not to be too upset about it, because I can see some part of it in the sense of, if I had just stayed in the same office last year, this wouldn't be as big an issue for me. But I don't know, like in a couple of weeks, just again, like, guys, I'm telling you, like everyone in the chat, they are so understaffed at these places. There are 3 people in my office working. That is it. And in like the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to be swamped with clients every single day. And this isn't going to be an issue for me anymore. But I mean, it is kind of a pain in the ass right now.
It's the subject of this stream, this shortage, which we were going.
Oh, really? That's what you guys are talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're trying to figure it out, because it's not that we don't believe the people saying there's no shortage. We believe them. And then this guy sent in an email that kind of explained it. But here I'm looking this up. H&R Block is a publicly traded firm.
Oh, okay.
And they are down about, what is that? 17%, 15% from their peak in 2024. A PE ratio of 13.
13.
What? A dividend yield of almost 3%? What's going on here?
Yeah, that doesn't.
That is very interesting. Okay. Well, shoot. It's a publicly traded firm, so it's owned by a bunch of pension funds and private individuals and
Chad, I gotta tell you this, right? So do you remember how I've constantly been telling you about like the added features and the add-ons you can buy as part of your return and everything? So not only like the refund transfer fee and everything, but they put this in this last year. There are now charges associated if you get your refund on a prepaid MasterCard. And they charge you $15 a month just to use the card.
Whoa! And they're asking you to push this?
Oh yeah. We're supposed to be pushing them all the time. Get these prepaid cards out there. They have fees if you try to transfer the money from the card to a bank account. And you can't like load more money on the card. Oh, it's super exploitive. It's super exploitive.
God.
I don't know if I like
a good place to
Block as much anymore. I kind of like them for that, but they kind of don't,
It's a corporate company, what do you expect?
Cool. All right, we got a couple more. Then I'm gonna go get an unhealthy chicken sandwich at Burger King.
What's your record for super chats? Mark, $4.99. Is it worth it to save your receipts all year and put them on your tax return for sales tax at the end of the year? As a normal W-2 employee who spends money, you want to try that one, Red Hawk? Or
and no, there's no reason for you to collect these, not unless you're a teacher, because only teachers can deduct things if you're a W-2 employee, but it's only $300.
$300 up from $250. Yeah, Mark, it's a good question, because in certain states that have high sales tax rates, like Texas is one of them, maybe if you're buying all kinds of things, but it's not worth the effort. You're not going to really save hardly anything. So don't just put them in a shoebox. No way. There's
no way you have more than 14,600.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the most I think I got 56 super chats one night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Individual. But then there was Elon Musk's filthy jockstrap has made 2 separate $500 super chat donations.
Wow. Really?
So yeah, if you look at the charts, it's like bam and bam. I'm like, there's Elon.
Yeah. Wow. I finally got the blue check on Twitter. And
did you? All right.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I got on inauguration day, and just in that first 2-week period, I made $62. So
nice. So you got
that's right. You and Nuke and those guys, you master that craft of making money on Twitter.
Oh, I like Twitter. I've been on Twitter for a long time, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I love it.
Nuke joins those live chats on there, and they go after him.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Roboto for $4.99. Chad and Red Hawk, what are your favorite returns to prepare? Mine is partnerships. Ooh, I hate those. Red Hawk?
Well, I have to do a partnership for myself because I take a K1 every year for the OGC. So,
yes, you do.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little bit annoying, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm liking working on Schedule C's, to be honest. I mean, it is nice because if you work on some of these big ones, you can actually make an hourly rate for collecting receipts, and I charge $50 an hour to add up receipts. So at least that's cool. So I don't get those too often, but
I remember last tax season you sent me that picture of that guy who walked in and it was like receipts. It was just
oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that was horrible. And the worst was the guy came in. Do you guys know those like toothpicks they put in the sandwiches, to hold your sandwich together? That's literally what he had the receipts on. It was like, motherfucker. Like, come on.
I get a kick. It's Friday night. We got a question. Listen, you're in Nerd Central. Chad and Red Hawk, what are your favorite returns to prepare? Mine is partnerships. I fucking love it, man.
I like S Corps the best, just because
really?
S corporations, yeah.
I actually do have favorite tax returns to prepare.
Well, I don't like the 1040s because there tends to be more bitching and moaning from the orphan ones, meaning they're not attached to an entity like that. Those are kind of annoying. And the partnerships, I have a bunch of messed up ones that involve many different people inside in many different states. So I don't really care for those, but the S Corp ones, I like those.
I don't know why we're not getting paid. I have no idea when.
You know what? I'm going to be honest, and Chad will probably back me up on this, and this is probably why we're in this business. Like, for all that we complain and we bitch about it, to be honest, I like doing taxes.
I'm cool. I like it.
It's not terrible. It beats digging dishes. It's pretty simple, just put this number in this place.
It honestly is, especially when you do enough of them. And yeah, I get stressed out this time of year, but talk to me, in early May, and I'm just like, hey, I'm on a beach.
Fellas, I'm gonna send you some pictures. I'm this close. I'm gonna try and book at the end of the month. I'm gonna go on safari in South Africa.
Really?
In early June this year.
Okay.
Yeah, go do some hunting. I'll take some pictures and send you boys some pictures. It's gonna be fun.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll send you guys pictures of me giving you the finger. In my backyard.
Never gotten one of those before.
Yeah. They are very rare. If you got one of those, hold on to them. What's your favorite picture of everyone giving the finger? Mine's. All right, we're all caught up with the super chats. It's been a very exciting Friday night. I came for the Friday. We had 38 super chats. We have our course available. The World's Greatest Accounting Career, if you were interested. For everyone else out there who is having trouble finding jobs in accounting, I'd be curious. Well, not everyone. If you could say, hey, I'm in this field, or this is the area I'm checking, because we got to figure this out to find out specifically what's going on, because we don't want you guys going to school or college or anything like that, and then you can't find a job. Although I will just say you're invariably going to end up in self-employment. But and then email me at assholeconsulting.com, not Chad, because Chad is busy because he's some bigwig CPA, and apparently something happens up until April 15th. I don't know what's going on. We got one more super chat.
Mark, $1.99. Is it true all accountants get visor hats like on TV? If you go to the Reddit group, the Tax Pros, that's the logo, visor hat. So I've never worn one of those.
Are you excited for The Accountant too?
Yes,
I kind of am myself.
Yeah. It comes out in April, doesn't it?
That was that Ben Affleck movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen the first one?
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. I liked it. It was nice to see autism representation on the big screen. So
got stereotyped a little bit, but it was still fun. Yeah.
We got one more super chat here.
My Truth, the King. I'm gonna watch Revenge of the Nerds. Nerds.
Good thing there's none of that here. We're all cool dudes. All right, that's it. The World's Greatest Accounting Career available on Teachable. Link below. Guys, when should we hang out?
Soon.